It's not your father's Pittsburgh Steelers. I've been saying that all weekend. Wild. As for what has happened, just to give everybody a little bit of a rundown, because it was a wild weekend, Friday, and it started after, like, Omar Khan, I'm telling you, this guy does it. I don't think he clocks into work until 5 p.m. Like, I don't think he shows up at the facility until everybody else goes home, and then he goes, all right, let's work some magic here. It's just him in, like, a dark room. Nobody else is in the building, and he's just like, all right, let's do some stuff here. For those of you who have not been paying attention, the Pittsburgh Steelers over the last 3 days have traded Kenny Pickett to the Philadelphia Eagles. They traded Kenny Pickett and a fourth-round pick 121, to the Philadelphia Eagles in exchange for pick 98, a third-round pick, and 2 sixth-round picks next season. The next day, they traded for Justin Fields, sending a conditional 2025 sixth-round pick in exchange for the quarterback. That sixth-round pick will become a fourth-round pick, if Justin Fields plays 51% of the Steelers' offensive snaps in 2024. Chances of that happening we'll dive into in a minute, but as of right now, seem very slim. They signed wide receiver Van Jefferson, and then as late as yesterday, scheduled a free agency visit with wide receiver Mike Williams, former Los Angeles Chargers. On top of that, they restructured cornerback Dante Jackson's deal, changing his $10.5 million salary into a $4 million salary and a $6 million salary, and a $4.75 million signing bonus, adding roughly $4.5 million to their salary cap. As they sit here right now, they have an estimated approximate $15.1 million in available spending money. And that comes after we started this. Last week, we started free agency, and they were at $28 million. They have signed Russell Wilson, added Justin Fields, traded for a corner, signed Patrick Queen, signed Deshaun Elliott, added a punter, re-signed 3 of their guys, and are bringing signed Van Jefferson, and they've spent $13 million. Insanity. I think just for a moment here before we dive into Justin Fields, his role, there's rumors about Russell Wilson moving forward, and then obviously Mike Williams. I think we got to give a quick shout out to Omar Khan and what he's done. Your thoughts on just week 1, man? You graded them with an A on Friday. I graded them with a B+. That skyrocketed into an A+ in about 10 seconds. Where are you standing with these guys today? What's your praise for Omar Khan?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what moves the Steelers have made this offseason that I don't think were good. You can debate about the Deontay trade, but even that seemed like it was a move that they had to make, a move that they were forced into. You can say that there are certain places where maybe they missed on a guy or something, and I think those opportunities are slim. Like, it is a near perfect offseason, or near as perfect as you can get if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. They haven't addressed every hole just yet, but again, we just finished week 1. We're starting week 2, and they have already addressed a ton of holes. They've gotten good value for everyone that they've picked up, and there's still a long way to go and a lot of money left to spend. That's the crazy thing. You still have $15 million to throw around, and that's before you restructure any big contracts or anything like that. Like, there could be still more money left for them to throw around this offseason.
100%. They typically bring in $10 million into the season. You need about $10 million to sign all your draft picks, and they have 15 right now. They could restructure Minka. They could restructure Alex Highsmith. They could restructure TJ Watt. They could extend Cam Hayward. All that adds about anywhere from $30+ million. So they're sitting very pretty. I would imagine all $15 million of this dollars gets spent before the end of free agency. Wild times. Let's dive into the biggest moves. The quarterback, Justin Fields, what it means for the Pittsburgh Steelers, his role moving forward. According to multiple reports, the Pittsburgh Steelers are viewing Justin Fields as a backup. Russell Wilson is the starter. Albert Breer from Sports Illustrated, Jerry Dulac from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette all reported that Mike Tomlin has already had that conversation with Justin Fields and said that Justin is going to be the backup. Russ is going to be the starter. Is that a good move for you? Do you view that as a positive or a negative thing? And do you think there's any chance that changes throughout the course of training camp? Is the door even a little bit open for Justin Fields to make this a competition?
Well, I don't think in training camp. I think Russ is kind of you can pencil in Russ as your week 1 starter, and not feel like you have to change it at all. I think if Fields does end up pushing for the starting job, it would have to come during the regular season. I think Russ would have to struggle quite a bit for them to consider benching him. And quite honestly, I don't really expect that to happen. I think Russ is going to play pretty well if I had to guess about it right now. So I think there is a chance that Fields could push for a starting job, make it a competition, end up starting a few games, maybe here or there. But like you said, that 51% snap threshold, if that's what we're using it, if that's a bar that we're using to judge, whether or not Fields is a major part of this offense moving forward, I don't think he's going to reach there. I don't think he's going to play that much. I think Wilson's going to take the vast majority of the snaps. I think he's going to do decently well in this offense, and I think Fields, I think he's really talented, and I think he could be a really good starter for another team at another time. But right now, I think this is Russell Wilson's show until he proves otherwise.
Yeah, I agree. I look at it, and you make a lot of good points. I think when it comes to the Justin Fields side of things, I think this helps him. I think to have a mentor like Russell Wilson. I mean, the stories popped up all over the place that once upon a time, Justin Fields said that he styles his play after Russell Wilson. So perfect mentor. I think that they're not going to pick up his 5th-year option, but I don't see them viewing Justin Fields as like a 1-year, this is never going to go any farther type of situation. Maybe Russ turns into a Super Bowl champion, and we'll dive into that in a second here. But I think that this is a perfect year for Justin Fields to learn and get the opportunity that he never got in Chicago. He's never had a reliable coaching staff. He's never had a consistent play caller. He's never had a good offensive line. He's barely had a reliable running game because everybody gets hurt every season. He's, up until last season, had terrible wide receiving cores. He's got good ones in Pittsburgh, and he's never had a mentor. He's never had the opportunity to sit on the bench and learn how to be an NFL quarterback. And yeah, you do pick things up, but it really helps to be able to sit down for a full season or 2 full seasons or whatever and learn from guys who have done this successfully. And Russell Wilson does this successfully. I think that it's the perfect fit for Justin Fields just because he now, every day in practice, he gets to work with George Pickens and Calvin Austin and possibly Mike Williams and Van Jefferson and, Pat Freiermuth and Connor Hayward. If he ever entered a game, he's got Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren. He's got a good offensive line. He gets to learn from Arthur Smith. He gets to work with Mike Tomlin every single day and just learn how to be a professional. And then he gets to study Russell Wilson. Like, that's what the Pittsburgh Steelers want Justin Fields to do. I think it helps his career tremendously. And I don't think there should be any pressure. Like, if Justin Fields comes in here and balls out in free agency and like it's ridiculous, there's just no stopping this guy, and Russell Wilson looks terrible, maybe then you make the move, I guess. But it's really hard to look bad in training camp, especially as a quarterback. Like, it's really hard to come in here and be like, oh man, I can't get sacked and there's no pressure and I could stand in this pocket all day long and the defense is the scout team defense, but I look really bad. Like, it's really tough to do that. So I don't think Russ is going to look worse than Justin Fields in training camp. I think he's going to look just fine. I think this is Russ's job. I think you're 100% spot on with that one. And then from Fields, I think you go from there.